Summarizing this movie is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. If anyone has seen this, you'll know. It's based around the character named Ashitaka, who's part of a tribe that's kind of dying out. And he gets infected by a demon. And now he's trying to save his life by also promoting peace between animals and humans. So that is the story. Wow.
I think I've seen this.
Have you?
But I don't remember it.
I feel like you'll remember if you've seen this. There's a huge demon boar that's like covered in all this weird
does it ride
floating
it?
shit.
Does he ride it?
No, it doesn't. It's a demon and you want to stay away from it.
Does somebody ride it? And it's just like runs and it's all stuff coming out of it.
You know, I think
this is I remember
perhaps,
this because of
yes.
like Film
And
4 puts this on quite a lot.
Does it?
Yeah.
They should put Spirit Away on. Jesus. Anyway,
back to the
I
synopsis.
think you've seen this. I think there is a part that sounds vaguely similar to what you're describing. It's a super dark film. The one I watched had Miramax, like it was Miramax that distributed it, but Disney also distributed it. And so some people could go watch this and it literally comes up with the Disney castle in the front. And I want everyone to know this is not a kid's film. I genuinely thought I was just going to watch maybe some sort of like Ponyo. I thought I was going to go watch some cute anime film, but it's super, super violent and graphic and weird and not for the faint-hearted. Because honestly, to me, like, there's like heads flying off and like legs going places and arms. Man, I thought I was watching Star Wars. But it's super confusing. The story is like extremely convoluted. I think I should say before I say that actually that I genuinely enjoyed this film. I thought it was really, really great. It had a great message. It's very, I mean, Hayao has like a trend of making these very environmentally like friendly movies. It's trying to promote or not even just trying to promote like looking after the environment, but try and like make a social commentary about technology and the environment. And I find it really, really interesting. And I thought he did it really well again here, but I would say that the story tries to handle too much. The story is called Princess Mononoke, which is just not right. It's misnamed. Anyone who's seen this, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but one of the characters, the character who is called Princess Mononoke, actually has another name, like of Sar or San, I forgot.
Okay, no, I think I've seen this. Yeah.
And they say Princess Mononoke once in the film. They call her Princess Mononoke once, and you can tell that they put that in.
Is it called something different in a different language?
I think it's called Princess Mononoke even in Japan.
Okay.
I think Miyazaki wanted to call it like the Tales of Ashitaka or something, which would have made way more sense.
Yeah.
He is the main character, she's not. It's super interesting though, and I don't even know what to describe. It visually looks amazing. This is all hand drawn. It boggles my mind how they've done this. It visually is like one of the most beautiful animations I've ever seen. And it's super interesting. The characters there's no like clear villains. There are some clear villains, but everyone kind of has a grey side to them. And I don't think it's very obvious as to who. It's kind of like Mad Max. Where, like, you know, you've got Immortan Joe, who's clearly a villain, but he's kind of, like, pushed by his own, like, desires and stuff. He's not ridiculous. He's not, like, mustache-twirling villain. I just want to destroy. And everyone else is kind of in the grey. You know, you don't know about Furiosa and Max and stuff like that. And I think I would compare it to that, which is the only time you can compare this to Mad Max. But I think it's one of those films that it's just really kind of realistic. I think it's fantastical. It's got very supernatural elements, but I think that the characters are really well done and fleshed out. My only issue with this movie is that it's so convoluted and it tries to put in so many storylines that the fact that I can't actually tell you much about the film is because there's literally like 1,000 different plot lines.
Very confusing amalgamation of
really.
Storylines.
And there's some parts where I felt like I was tripping. Like I genuinely thought there's like this thing called like a Nightcrawler or a Nightwalker. I think not Nightcrawler, sorry, Nightwalker. And it's like walking through the forest and it transforms at night and it transforms into an elk and then it transforms into this giant. Guys, I don't know what I'm describing, but if I told you that I'd seen this, I'd get arrested and probably tested for drugs because it doesn't make sense. Even as I'm watching it, I'm like...
But then things like that are just so amazing. Like, even if you've seen this movie, you get confused by it, you get, like, this thing is turning into a different thing, and you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Then this must be a brilliant film.
I love that shit. Like, to be honest, like, crazy stuff like that, I love that. I love, like, weird people getting turned into animals. It's just weird shit.
The fantastical is quite good. Because, like, the fantastical, when it's presented to people who don't have an understanding of it, normally it doesn't go down well. But if you present the fantastical in a way that people can understand it and relate to it in films and have it go down well, especially for you who don't like what everybody else is like most of the time, then yeah.
But kind of following on from that point, I think it's a thing with Western culture, whereas fantastical really isn't that much outside the box. When I'm watching Japanese movies, especially like Studio Ghibli, I just feel like they're taking fantastical and like shit's going cray. Like, oh, you know, this box is turned into a monkey. It's just weird stuff.
Yeah, but it's fine. You just go with it.
You go with it. But it's like, I find that more interesting. And one thing I will say about this film is, if you are going to watch it, like I watched the first half as the Japanese version with the subtitles. But then I ended up watching the English dub for the rest of it because I was like chilling out and I was like, I don't want to read. I'm like lying on my side and I'm like trying to read the words sideways and I'm like,
exactly, you can't watch subtitles.
Shit's going way too fast. You can't read subtitles sideways.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me just put on the English dub. Hated the English dub, but I was just going to finish it anyway. It's actually got like legit. It's got like Billy Bob Thornton and Minnie Driver and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
they sold
Jada
it
Pinkett
well.
Smith. To me, it just sounded over the top. It sounded like, you know, when you watch the Spanish soap operas.
Oh yeah.
The way people talk, like, Alejandro, he's trying to kill you. It's like no one talks like this. And I felt like they forgot that this is not just like a radio film. This is a film that's going to have people doing stuff. So you don't need to completely express what's happening through voice. And sometimes it was like, oh, this character's a bit shady. So you would have him talk, I am shady. Like, and it just was just, and after just hearing how kind of okay the Japanese version was and reading the subtitles along with it, it made it worse.
Yeah, it made it more exaggerated when you.
So maybe if you just go straight ahead and watch the English dub, you wouldn't give a shit. But to me, and the person who did Ashitaka's voice, I'm not actually sure who did. He was fine. Everyone else was ridiculous. I would say that watch the Japanese version if you're gonna watch it, and don't do what I did. Don't just switch between the two, and then you won't notice. Then it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Watch whatever version you want. But yeah, Princess Mononoke overall, I actually really, really enjoyed it. Very convoluted at points, and I think if it was like a 3-hour film or if it was like a TV series, this would have worked better because I felt like it was trying to cram in so much.
Yeah.
And it ended up just kind of leaving loads of stuff confusing. There's like so many different tribes of animals, and it just ended up being very like wishy-washy, and it doesn't go into depth about any of that. But overall, like, I liked it. And to be honest with you, if this was a TV series, I probably wouldn't watch it. I don't have patience for that shit.
Yeah,
so
I don't have patience.
You know, yeah, I enjoyed it. So.